I thank the gentleman for yielding, and Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of House Resolution 55, authored by myself and my colleague from the state of California, Congresswoman Jane Harman. This resolution calls for the establishment of a National Prader-Willi Syndrome Awareness Month, and it encourages continued federal research of this syndrome. Now, this syndrome is recognized as a common genetic cause of childhood obesity, and for too many children, it is an affliction which causes them not even to be able to reach their teens. Many of them don't reach their 20th birthday as a result of this malady. Mr. Speaker, 7.5 years ago, I was in the position of most members of this House and most Americans, in that I had never heard of Prader-Willi syndrome. And then a little girl named Abby Porter was born. I can still remember that day and the phone call that came telling me that Abby had arrived, but that something was wrong. Abby was sleeping almost 24 hours a day, was unable to eat on her own, and had almost no muscle tone at all. Thanks to the persistence and strong will of Abby's parents, she was sent to Children's Hospital in Denver, where she underwent extensive testing. And at 2 weeks of age, we all learned that Abby had a genetic disorder called Prader-Willi syndrome. Many of you are now asking what I asked on that day of the phone call. What is Prader-Willi syndrome? In short, it is a complex condition characterized by morbid obesity, by insatiable appetite, by poor muscle tone and failure to thrive during infancy, among many other maladies. And 20 years ago, a child with Prader-Willi syndrome was likely to die of morbid obesity before they reached adulthood. Most of these children were either never diagnosed or diagnosed later in life when treatment was far less effective. Abby Porter is actually one of the lucky ones, as she received a very early diagnosis. As a result of this early diagnosis, she was able to begin human growth hormone treatments at the age of 3 months. A relatively new treatment for Prader-Willi at the time of her birth, growth hormone enabled Abby to begin building the muscle tone she needed to eat, to hold up her head, to sit up, crawl, and finally to walk. As a result, she was able to reach all of her developmental milestones at roughly the appropriate times. She was also able to develop cognitively at a more normal rate than she would have without this treatment. Abby and I want every child with Prader-Willi syndrome to have this same opportunity. We want to increase awareness of this genetic disorder among healthcare providers and pediatricians and parents and teachers and communities. We want children to get diagnosed early so that they can begin immediate treatment. We want parents to be able to find out the information that they need to make decisions about the treatment and development of their children. We want teachers to understand the cognitive and emotional struggles that come with Prader-Willi and that must be dealt with in order for these children to learn. We want neighbors and community members to learn about this syndrome so that they will understand the actions and behavior of some of the children with Prader-Willi. Thus, they will not reject them outright and will instead teach their own children about the acceptance of differences. Abby and I want these families with Prader-Willi children to know that the families are not alone in this fight to search for cures and treatments that will improve the future of their children. And for that reason, we are both proud today to see this House call for a National Prader-Willi Syndrome Awareness Month and to express support for further research in this disorder. And I want to again thank my colleague, Congresswoman Jane Harman from California, for her support and efforts on behalf of this resolution. And I urge all of my colleagues to support this bill, and I reserve the balance of my time. Thank you.